Welcome, everybody, to the Solstice Recovery podcast. Today, our guest, longtime friend, longtime recovery friend,
longtime lover,
Dylan Robie.
Sponsor, good, big in the recovery community, Dylan Robie, right here in the flesh. Nobody makes me laugh as hard as this guy. Belly laughs, and he just does it by roasting me.
Yeah.
It's true. It's too bad that pimple's not still here.
Anyways, I had the biggest pimple right here. It was huge.
Did it go away the next day?
Yeah. Well, what happened?
No, it didn't.
No,
the next day it didn't go, but then next couple days then it came over and then
it went away. What happened the next day is like overnight it deflated, and then it got crusty, and then I just picked it off, like the crust off, and then it was just bloody.
Do you wipe or let it crust?
And then it was just bloody, and I just. Anyways, we're getting away from the point here.
crusty. Anyways, yeah, I do roast Eric a lot, but it's all out of love.
All out of love, you know.
I've known you for quite a while, so
exactly.
I've earned that right.
Like I said, we met in the Bob's Big Boy with Jesse Showalter.
Yeah, we were at Bob's Big Boy, and Eric wouldn't stop talking about a threesome.
Did I
too loudly in front of a family?
Did I know you before that? Because I remember you telling me that we met at Ohio Street because you went there with Nico, and I was just like, "Hey, what's up, man?" And then I walked away.
I did. You like it's like you didn't. It was like you kind of like whatever. And I now thinking about it, it totally makes sense because it's like
how often
the amount of times I've met someone, and it's like, where are they now? I'm like, I don't fucking know.
Yeah,
you know?
Dude, there's so many people that I've come to know during my time in AA, especially like think about like your first 2-3 years of sobriety. How many people did we know that would like go to meetings with us all the time, and now they're just not around anymore?
Just one day they stop showing up.
Like off the face of the earth. Like I don't know where the fuck.
Yeah, exactly.
So many people are. I'm like, well, whatever. So when I met you, it was very quick because you're like, whatever, you know, I got 5 years, and then or 4 years, but like it makes sense. But then when I met you, it was more. It wasn't at a meeting. It was.
I think it was was it at Bob's Big Boy that we met?
Yeah, I met you in the parking lot of Bob's Big Boy.
Okay, yeah. And then we went to.
And then I asked you, I was like, "Where are you from?" You're like, "Los Angeles." I was like, "Great, where?"
But yeah, but
That's a verb.
Oh, really? You're from Los Angeles?
That's an Eric answer.
But no, most people that like ask me that question are from out of town.
Yeah,
right?
100%.
So and I just tell them at Los Angeles, and they usually are new, and they don't know where Tarzana is.
If only I had this hat back then.
Okay,
You know what I mean?
only if you had the born and raised hat. But like most people don't know where Tarzana is.
Most people don't know where La Crescenta is.
Yeah, La Crescenta, which
You know what's
is a
interesting
mythical
though?
place.
With my line of work, everyone knows where La Crescenta is.
Yeah, are there a lot of studios out there?
No,
Do
they
do
just
filming?
film a lot. Like,
they film a lot out there?
locations wise.
Yeah. Okay, interesting. There's a lot of bears out there.
There sure are. Constantly. They're just in people's trash cans.
You being one of them.
Yeah. I don't even know what that means.
I don't. Never mind.
I'm gonna let that one go.
Yeah.
You're not part of that community.
Can I smoke in here? Do you care?
No, go ahead, please. Go ahead.
Anyways.
Enjoy yourself. Whatever you'd like, you know? So
Smoking's a filthy habit, you know.
But it's cool.
But
Don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
I feel good.
But yeah, so like Dylan, what brought you, how did you find out about the rooms of AA? Like I found out about AA through a court card. And I mean, I've seen it in movies and shit like that before, but I didn't go to my first AA meeting until I was assigned by the courts to go.
Well, when did you find out about AA? I want to know both perspectives, and then I want to give mine. Was it coworkers?
No, I had been my first meeting. I was like,
But no, when did you
18.
find out about AA?
So I found out about AA. I think just like maybe overhearing it or seeing it in a movie or something like that.
Right.
But I don't think someone was like, "You need to go to AA," and I was like, "What's that?"
Like you never saw an AA meeting?
No.
Because mine is, so I'm from La Crescenta, obviously, but like we said, but like I lived on a street called Dunsmore, and my grandmother lived on a street called New York, and so we go all the way down the hill, turn left on a street, and then go to New York, the next street over. But at the bottom of that hill was like it's like a
An
house.
Alano Club?
I think it's an Alano Club. It's just like a house. It's almost like 26 and Broadway.
Yeah.
But then we go down and it's a red light. I'm like, and I'd be a kid. I'm like, what are all those people doing outside? It's just there was always people outside of the building. My mom was like, oh, that's an A meeting place. It's still there. I'm pretty sure it's.
Have you been there?
Yeah, it's real crusty. Technically, that is my first ever, not for me, but my first ever AA meeting.
Okay. Did you go to support your mom or something?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
I have my mom and other people in my family like have gone to AA, whether on a court card or just like because they were doing AA and sobriety.
Did you ever get a DUI?
Dude, I was so fucking close, and I'll put a pin in that because I'll tell you that story later. But I feel like you might know it, but the viewers might not. So my mom was in the circuit, whatever, and like she had a stint with sobriety, and then my sister had a stint with sobriety. My sister had 2 years sober, and she'd go to that meeting hall because it was right down the street from our house all the time. So I would go to these AA meetings, and I'd not for myself, for someone else, like give my sister a cake or something like that. And then I was enamored. I was so enamored by it because it's like, I mean, now obviously like there's a power in a meeting. Like there's like that juju inside of it, you know?
Yeah.
But I was like, 14, 15. And then like I go and I hear some fucking guy tell the gnarliest war story ever. Like cause I didn't know the format, but like, I'd be like, holy shit, he came back from that.
Yeah.
And I was like, I felt good. I was like, whoa, that was crazy. And it wasn't for me. Like I definitely was not going for myself. But then how I got into AA was because I knew about it. I knew it was a thing, but I wasn't really like sure if I was like alcoholic or not. And then in 2018, like early 2018, I just could not get a fucking key out of my nose. I was just like 130 pounds, shitty bleached hair, a thin, disgusting
I love
mustache.
that picture.
It's gross,
and I know you know what
I was like,
picture
why
I'm
am I not
talking
getting
about.
laid? It's because I was a night creature. I was disgusting.
There's a picture of like, yeah.
Yeah. And then I got honest with, ironically, my mom and my sister. And my mom was like, if you want to make a change, you have to do something different. I was working in a bar at the time in Pasadena. And then I was like, yeah, you're right. I should do this for you. And then quickly, my sister, who had more time than my mom in her stint, she was like, no, that's not how this works. Like, you don't do it for other people. You got to do it for yourself. I was like, oh, okay. And then I just went and I looked up like AA meetings. I looked up NA meetings. And I went to an NA meeting on like a Monday or a Wednesday at noon in Silver Lake. I went to Cafe Tropical. Sidebar. Have you heard about? Do you know what Cafe Tropical is?
No. In Silver Lake?
In Silver Lake.
Is that the tiki bar?
No, it was a restaurant, like a Cuban restaurant.
Okay.
And the owners, all this shit happened, and then they closed. So all the meetings that were at Cafe Tropical were like kaput. And shameless plug, Ukrainian Danny on the east side, he hasn't responded to my text, but I'm pretty sure. I think he fucking bought Cafe Tropical and they reopened it. It's like a grand reopening.
Really?
So they're gonna
same name?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So new owners, and I think the owners are sober.
This was in Silver Lake?
Yeah, dude. It's on Sunset and like I don't fucking know.
I would like to go to more East Side meetings. I never go.
They're out of, if you don't live over there, it's like they're so far out of the way.
I know. I live on the West Side, and it's just like
that's out of the way.
West Side, dude. All of the West, I can't find a good meeting on the West Side.
Yeah, but that's foo-foo, dude.
What?
I don't do it anymore, but like, there's no like if you get asked to go speak at an East Side meeting, won't you make the trek?
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
But like,
I feel like
if your sponsee lives on the East Side and is going to go take a cake at
I would go.
Cafe Tropical, you would go.
100%.
Like, there's no reason why you wouldn't go.
The thing with like the West Side is all the treatment centers there, all the sober livings are there. So you get these meetings that are inundated with like rehab kids and treatment center kids and sober living kids that all have like no sobriety time, and it's a great place to go meet newcomers. But not much solution there, you know?
To get back to the point, though.
Anyways, sorry.
We sidetracked. I went to Cafe Tropical NA noon on like a Wednesday, and I had no idea what the fuck was happening. It was for me this time, and then I was just like, okay, I gotta go to work. Like I had to go open the bar in Pasadena, and so I went and did that because La Crescenta is just a straight shot down to the east side, and so I went to that, and I was like, well, I'm cured. I went to one NA meeting, and I didn't really retain anything. It was
an NA meeting?
Yeah, I was like the only guy with teeth. Yeah. There was like,
I'm surprised they let you in.
There was like maybe 6 people, including myself, in there, and I was like, what the fuck is this? And I was like, I don't know if I'll go back, but at least I went, you know?
Yeah.
And then that was like February. That was like 6 years ago, February of 2018. And then all of March went by, and then I was like, I gotta stop doing coke. Coke is the problem. And then I like did coke again because I was like getting all drunk and shit. I was just replacing. And then I have I knew this guy. He was like older. He's like middle-aged. He was from my hometown, and I just knew him. I went to this church when I was a kid. I wasn't very churchy, but I went to this church, and I knew him from that church, but I knew he had a daughter that I met multiple times, but I always knew he had a son named Michael Ayers, who was in and out of sobriety and stuff, and I kind of vaguely knew about him, and then I was at a bar, and I was like, yeah, 2 weeks, no blow. I was drunk, and I hit him up. I was like, hey, and he's like, why don't you come over? It was like 10 at night. I was like, what the fuck? And I walked to his fucking house, kind of drunk, and I got completely and fully honest about everything with him. And it was kind of a good like leeway because it was like, it wasn't my mom, it wasn't like the courts, it wasn't anything, but I got honest with him. He was like, you should hit up Michael. And this was like a Sunday. And I quit the bar, and I was working construction, and on Monday morning at 8 a.m., I texted Michael. I was like, hey, like, this is Dylan, you know, and I know your dad and your sister, and I might need I want to go to a meeting. Do you know of any? And he texts me back like 2 hours later. He's like, yeah, like meet me at Brunswick at 7. Or the meeting's at 8. So he's like, I'll be there at 7. I was like, okay, bet. And awkwardly I went, and I didn't know fucking anyone, and he wasn't even at the meeting. He was eating food before the meeting, and I went, and I met him, and he was like the most welcoming fucking dude I've ever met. Very fucking cool too. Like, I feel like, I don't know, AA is like I was like 23 and single, and I remember at the time I looked at Michael, I was like, there's so many like beautiful people in these meetings. He's like, yeah, man, whatever keeps coming back, you know, like it's truly the attract. Like, he was like he's so fucking handsome, tall as fuck, tattooed up the ass. And I realized I liked him a lot because I told him one time, I was like, I feel like all you do is like eat good food, listen to good music, and have good conversations with people. He was like, yeah, kind of, like humbly was like, yeah, kind of, yeah, that's what I do, you know. And he introduced me to all these fucking people, and I was going to these meetings, and you guys know this, crowd doesn't, but like I was going to meetings for like 4 months, kind of working steps. I like got it. Ukrainian Danny sponsored me, and I like kind of did the steps with him, but I didn't really understand what the fuck the point was, and I was just like kind of like, okay, yeah, for sure, but I didn't understand where my priorities should have been. And I was like, I have to make money. So I was working construction, and then it was just like, I hated it. I absolutely fucking hate working construction. I'll never do it again. Can
you tell us about the time you flipped the...
Oh yeah, I was working construction. I mean, rightfully so. I was like, no one liked me. I was like, I think I was a threat to people because I was like, oh, this white kid, you know, could like, we don't want to, I felt like they were like, we don't want to teach you anything because we don't want you to like work your way up into this company.
Take their jobs. I
was like, okay, that makes sense, whatever. But I was at Vin Diesel's house in Coldwater Canyon, and he was redoing his pool, and so we had to it was all demolished, but we had to fill it up with dirt so we could re-dig for a new pool. And I was on the job site, and no one was showed up. I was like, what the fuck? So I texted my boss. I was like, where are you guys? And he's like, oh, we'll be there in a little bit. Like, just hang tight. I was like, okay. But I was getting like antsy and like trying to like, take control, which never works out. And I was like, fuck it, I'm getting in the Bobcat. And if you don't know what a Bobcat is, it's like the tractor machine with a bucket, right? With the four-wheelers. But this had the tracks on it. And I got in the Bobcat and we didn't have a compactor. And so I was like, I'm going to fucking put dirt in here and compact it myself. And I was doing that for like maybe 20 minutes. And then I was going up the ramp because it's a big hole with a dirt ramp. And I was going up the ramp, but I couldn't see. And I lifted the bucket up, what I thought was a little bit, but it was all the way up. So the bucket is like all the way here. And I'm like going like this at an angle. And that bucket, all the way to that bucket, oh shit. And I like rolled back on the thing. And I was like, I rolled a Bobcat. And what a shocking coincidence. I didn't work for them like 2 weeks later.
Were you a certified?
No.
You're not Bobcat certified?
No, I was not Bobcat certified. No, and...
Would they have been pissed? Or were they pissed?
Like, fuck yeah, they were pissed. It's a lot of fucking money,
But was it like broken? I feel like those things...
Someone had to like come roll it over and it like... because I don't know. I don't know what happened.
They just told you to go home.
Later on, they're like... When I got fired, I got ghosted. I was like, hey, like, where's my job? Where am I going tomorrow? And he's like, oh, just hang tight. Like, we're fixing the Bobcat. I was like, okay. And then another day went by, and they're like, still fixing. I was like, okay. And then they just stopped responding. And then I had to like beg for my paycheck. But what happened in that time, which is a weird coincidence, I was going to AA, right? Trying to work. Like, only priority was money, not like sobriety at all. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't really doing steps. I dropped my first sponsor. I got a second one. Jesse Showalter, the guy we met at Bob's Big Boy.
Yes, sir.
I think that was around the time that we met each other.
Yes.
And then I dropped him, and then I got this other guy who had like 30 years. And he was dealing with like personal shit, and he like wasn't necessarily available for me. And I selfishly, I was like, this guy doesn't give a fuck about me. Now, looking back at it, that guy's the best, and I love him a lot.
Who's that?
Jay. Lene. Probably a good person to have on the podcast. Very funny. Okay. Anyways, 4 months went by, and then on August 3rd, I took a girl on a date. Right?
Yes.
Both these boys know this story. I took this girl on a date. I say this a lot. Took this girl on a date who's not sober, and then she's like a normie, but I took her to a Dodger game. We played pool at a bar called Shortstop in Echo Park. Mm. And then we left, and then I went over to her house, and she was going to smoke a bowl of weed, and this thought within my head was like, maybe try some controlled smoking weed, because I knew that was kind of a line in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, but I didn't have any idea what the fuck it meant. So I was like, thankfully I didn't die, because a lot of people do die from these two words. And I was like, fuck it, Yeah. And I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna smoke weed. And I smoked weed, and it was fucking sick. It was, I won't, on this podcast, I don't give a shit. I will tell you the truth.
Yeah, no, I hope you tell the truth. I got
high, and just like every other time that anyone ever gets high, it felt fucking fantastic.
Of course.
And what I realized in hindsight is of course it felt good. I felt enough confidence. I tried to make a move. It didn't go as well as planned. I got denied, and I was humiliated on the inside, screaming. And I was like, yeah, it's fine. And I went home, and I was like, dude, I just fucking broke 4 months of sobriety, which felt like an eternity to me. But then that was August 3rd, and my sobriety date is August 4th of 2018. So I was going to meetings, and I was talking with Jesse, and talking with another guy named Nico. And I was like, maybe I'll just smoke weed and go to meetings. And they're like, yeah, you can, but like, we don't suggest that. I was like, all right, fine, And I haven't gotten high since, and I just started going to meetings, and I had to do everything different. And then this is when I met you, because then I got this sponsor who was like the complete opposite of me in like every way, right? And both of you know my sponsor. He's very quiet and like thinks before he speaks. I'm like, what? I don't do that. And then he is part of a sponsorship family where then I met Clayton, because Clayton and him have the same sponsor. And isn't that like right when you got Jeff?
Yeah.
More or less, like months apart. And then Clayton was like a part of this fellowship, and then I met all these fucking people, and Eric knew Clayton, and like I just kind of like fell into this fellowship of Alcoholics Anonymous that surrounded themselves around me, and I had really nothing. Truly, I had nothing to lose.
I'm not gonna lie, you got real fucking lucky falling into that fellowship.
100%.
That is such a.
And there might be people who see this, and there might be people who know me and be like, "Man, fuck that." And it's like I don't know how it's grace. That's the definition of grace. It's like I didn't choose this. I didn't wake up one day and be like, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna fellowship and make all these friends. It was just like it just kind of happened.
You were thrown into it. And it's only because what my sponsor told me at the time was like, as long as you're honest, minded, and willing, like you will always be taken care of.
Of course.
And in the broad sense, like I will always be taken care of in any sense as long as I'm honest, minded, and willing.
And you were.
And brother, I was so goddamn willing. I was willing, but also not willing at the same time. But I had just enough willingness, just enough open-mindedness, and just enough honesty to get me by and find this and have this grace find me. You know what I mean? So my first introduction to Alcoholics Anonymous was growing up as a kid, having family in it, and knowing someone very vaguely who introduced me to all these people. And I'll end with this. Us three are the luckiest fucking people in the world. The fact that we get to sit down with expensive equipment and do a fucking podcast and talk about us being sober, because not everyone makes it. 2 years ago on August 9th, Michael Ayers died. He overdosed.
Wow.
He was trying to do it for like 15 years, 15, 20 years. And he overdosed and died. And when I asked him, I was like, I feel like all you do is like listen to good music, talk to good people, and eat good food. And he's like, yeah, kind of. I look back, and I said this at his funeral. I was like, I feel like all I kind of really do for the most part is like eat good food, listen to good music, talk to good people. And like, in essence, it's like, yeah, AA and sobriety like allowed me to like not do drugs and drink anymore, but like it allowed me to like have what I'm looking for, and like you can't put a price tag on, I mean, you can on good music and good food, you know what I mean? Technically, but like you can't put a price tag on achieving that.
Yeah.
It just like, I don't know, it's priceless. And like the fact that like, I feel like that's what I try to do today. It's like, I try to like be that example for someone who is new. I try to be that Michael Ayers for someone else, to like live on his legacy, because that's the best I can do for him, you know? And like, if someone random hits me up and says, hey, I know someone that knows you, and I'm looking for a meeting, you best fucking believe it'd be like, yeah, I go to this meeting here, and like, just to be that like vision for you, as cliche as that sounds, to be like, yeah, like this is what I do, and like I get to do these things because of what I have done in this program and the priorities I have set, making this the forefront of my life, by living by spiritual principles, by like helping other people, by like just like doing the deal, I'm not always perfect at it by any means, but like Michael died, and like it fucked me up, and like now it's like it's my turn to be Michael Ayers for someone else,
Yeah.
So rest in peace, Michael Ayers.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
I mean, you really do a great job of living on his legacy, because I don't know anybody as welcoming and as inviting as you are, for people who are in recovery. You're always willing to take a new guy through the steps, or talk. I always see you talking to newcomers after the meeting. Like, you talk to your friends, but you're always talking to a newcomer as well.
Yeah,
I do my best.
So
yeah, but you guys did that for me too.
Yeah.
So it's like not only living on his legacy, but it's like I'm passing off straight up what like both of you did for me.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
More so Clayton.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Thanks.
I mean, dude, it's like, because I had the same thing happen to me with Dylan Guardia, right? This dude just like we were working together, and I asked him to take me to a meeting at work because I was strung out and like I just didn't know what to do and I wanted to stop, and he took me and introduced me to all these people, and we would go to Crave Cafe till like 3 a.m. and just mess around. Like, dude, it was, you know, and because I experienced that the way that I did, I know now like what to do for people. You know what I mean? Like in the sense of creating a fellowship, right? Like, hey, let's all go do this and then grab some newcomers and bring them with us. You know, like it's really like that simple. And then you just like, honestly, like we would do that and we wouldn't even talk about like meetings or steps. We would just like laugh and have fun. And to me, like, that's what I think I needed the most, was to like, it's supposed to be as fun as it is serious, you know, which is like, I think it gets, you know, some people come in and they're like, yes, this is life or death, but dude, like you can smile, like you're supposed to smile again, you know, like I learned how to have fun again. I learned how to like be a friend and like show up and like all this kind of stuff. And with doing so, it like, you know, I got to like, I got to have fun in recovery, which was like, you know, I kind of thought when I first started coming to meetings that like my life is over. It's just boring shit now, you know? And I think that's a thing that a lot of people come in with, is like, oh, dude, my life's going to be so boring now. Like I can't do any of this stuff. And it's like, I've gone to bars, I've gone to raves, I've got, you know what I mean? Like all sober. And I've had just as much fun, if not more, than I would have drinking, you know?
Yeah, 100%.
So it's like
that idea hit me a week into sobriety. The first, when I had 4 months, my first sobriety was April 1st, April Fool's Day. Boo. I hated it. So April 1st was my sobriety date. And I was really nervous because my natal birthday is April 10th. So a week into sobriety, I was fucking so nervous. And I didn't know what to do. I got invited to like this guy's house who I used to get high with because we share the same birthday. And I was like, I felt so awkward. And Michael was like, you should take Danny. He talks to everyone. And Danny and I went to this house, whatever. And it was like, all right, let's get the fuck out of here. Like Danny was like, I have like other things we could do tonight if you want to. I was like, yeah, for sure. And it was on my fucking birthday, dude. And he like took me out. Like he introduced me to all these people, sober and not sober. And like went and got like dessert at Catch. And like I'd never been there. I was like in this bubble. And like what happened that night was like, I didn't realize you could have, I was like, I have not had that much fun on my fucking natal birthday in a long time. Because to me at that time, my natal birthday is kind of important, right? In comparison to my sobriety birthday. But like my natal birthday at that time was like, how the fuck do you have a natal birthday and not get fucked up for it? And I had no idea. And so a week into sobriety, Danny showed me like, yo, like you can have fucking fun. Like we're going to have fun. It's your birthday. You know what I mean? And yeah, so I got that same thing, but like a week into sobriety, I was like, oh shit. Mm-hmm. And then 4 months go by and I'm sober in August. And then it's like, oh, like, yeah, you can have fun in sobriety. Like I started the sobriety knowing like you can have fun and be sober. Like you can like, not even fun. You can be not, you can feel not awkward and sober. You know what I mean? And that is, to me, that's bigger than having fun. Because I can like, yeah, whatever, I'm not having fun, but I don't feel fucking awkward. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like that's way different than like
not being like just being uncomfortable.
You know what I mean? Like I can go to a bar and it's like, yeah, I'm not drinking, you know? Yeah. And slowly but surely this spiritual awakening started happening. And because my life was so surrounded around bar life and stuff like that, working in bars, that like, oh, I can handle this. And like, it's not like taboo for me. And that's what I got to realize about getting high. It's like, yeah, of course, like getting drunk and high is fucking sick, but like it's a very part-time solution for a permanent problem that I have within myself, you know? And I say this a lot when I speak, like sobriety is not a sexy solution. It's not sex. Abstaining from drugs and alcohol in comparison to a fat line of blow, a fat line of blow is much sexier. You know what I mean? But it doesn't last long at all. You know, and it's like that. It's
And
like
it comes with a lot of problems. Too.
it just doesn't last.
Yeah.
And like problems or not, like it just doesn't last. And if like maybe it's just the way I think because I'm an addict and alcoholic, but like I just think like what's gonna last longer? Like to me, like rationally, it's like it wouldn't if there was a drug that like had no problems and lasted forever, and be like, why don't I just do that drug?
Right.
And that so corny. That drug is sobriety. You know what I mean? Like, but it really is though. It's like it allows you to like. It's a sustainable solution.
Yeah.
That like that. It like it's time to grow the fuck up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like that is sustainable. That's something that I can like live with and continue to do on a daily basis. You know.
100%.
Anyways.
Will you tell us about your progression outside of AA, like where your life was when you first got sober to like now?
Yeah.
You know,
That's a good question.
yeah.
I use this as an analogy a lot. Before I got sober, I was that guy that goes to the skate park, gets high, and then doesn't skate. You know what I mean? Like that fucking burnout. You know, like I guess just smoking a spliff on the bench that we're all trying to skate. You know, like I was that guy. There was before I got sober, it was like there was always my best friend growing up. He was like, Dylan, there's always something going on with you, and that's kind of how it was. It was just like there's always something going on with me, like an issue or something like that. I was always trying to find, again, like what I just said, like I was trying to find that solution, whether it was like money, girls, a huge attention. Like I had to get something to like fix this problem that was within me, right? And it just never got solved. And I was 22, turning 23. I didn't go to college, and I was working in the bar scene in Pasadena, and I was just like, well, this is it. You know, and I was just like, I truly had no real fucking clue what I was doing. And I was just kind of like essentially floating by, just like wherever the wind takes me. I was like, I don't fucking know. You want to smoke a spliff? Like, I just didn't have any goals, aspirations, desires. I just didn't really know, you know?
You were sleeping on the couch at your mom's too.
Well, I was, before I got sober, my mom, my sister, and I, we had this house in La Crescenta, and then we had to sell it, right? Just like, it was time. It was my grandmother's house, and we had to sell it. And so when we sold it, like an arrogant asshole, I was like, I'm not paying to live with you guys. Like, fuck that. Because my mom was moving. My mom moved to Van Nuys. And then I was like, fuck that. And so that childhood best friend I had, they had a back house, and I was in that back house, and I was just like causing a ruckus. I was just like coming home from the bar 4 a.m. I'm like, oh, it's almost 4:20. I'll roll spliff. And then like I still had like a little bit of blow left over in my bag, and I'd like gum it or snort the rest, and I'd just like be up. And it was just like fucking miserable. And then I finally got sober. And then when I was sober, I was there for maybe a month or two. And then I was like, it's time for me to go. Because I was there for like 6 months, maybe 10 months. And then I moved into my mom's apartment. I was like, I have nowhere else to go. Like, I have to go. So I moved to Van Nuys, moved all my shit there, and I slept on a couch for like 9 months. And that's when I got sober in August, and that's when I met all these people. And then 9 months into my sobriety, I had a little relationship that lasted a little while. And then we broke up as soon as I moved into the most glorious North Hollywood apartment with Clayton. And when I say glorious, imagine
It was atrocious.
a 50-foot pile of shit. It was disgusting. It was just like a super bro-y bachelor pad. You know what I mean?
You guys were living like with like 2 random other dudes, weren't you?
Well, they weren't random.
Well, it's like
So I moved in there first, and it was 2 people that I was working with at the time.
Was it a 3-bedroom or
It was a 2-bedroom.
It was a 2-bedroom,
and there was 3 of us there. I think 2 of them shared a room, and then I had my own room.
No, then there was 4.
Well, when you moved in, there was 4.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
so those two guys shared a room.
They shared a room. Yeah, and it was like, dude, disgusting. Like, you could like, there was a picture on the wall, I remember, and I hit the wall right next to it, and it was like roaches.
Oh
It
my
was
God.
disgusting. It was disgusting, but you know what? Like, dude,
It really built
$500,
character, dude.
$500 in North Hollywood, like, I'll take it, bro. You know, like,
I want
was-
you to repeat what you just said. $500 for rent in North Hollywood. How much was the total rent? It was like $2,000.
Yeah, it wasn't that much.
It was $2,000 for 2-bedroom, 1 bath, but it was disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good luck getting furniture up there. It was
Oh my god, the smallest hallways.
it was insane, bro. It took me one time an hour and a half to get a couch inside the house after you left. It was fucked. So I moved from my mom's living room. I was like, fuck this, I'm not living here anymore for free. I'm gonna go pay $450 to go move into another living room.
He had the biggest room though.
I did have the biggest room, and technically, I'd be like, technically, you're in my room when they were in the kitchen
Yeah.
because I had no door. But I,
Dude, I remember
You were sleeping on a king size mattress.
your king size
My old
mattress
king
that you
size
were
mattress.
conceived on.
I was conceived on that mattress.
It was old as shit.
What the
Yeah.
fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Dude, I remember that kitchen was disgusting.
You should have
guys
seen the
didn't-
bathroom.
You
Did
guys,
you not see the bathroom?
I remember the bathroom
horrendous.
too.
Dude, it was like
I was so worried at the time. I was like, how am I gonna get girls to come over and sleep or
Yeah.
like have sex with me? It's like, dude, you got bigger problems.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
And I remember you were like still kind of struggling to make $450 in rent.
yeah, the first month I moved in, I was like, Clayton, I don't think I have the money. He's like, you better fucking figure it out, dude. And I did, obviously.
Yeah,
but
fucking drive Postmates, whatever the fuck. Just
Yeah.
figure it out.
It worked out. That was the third step experience for me because I was talking to Darian about it. I moved into that apartment and I couldn't afford $450,
Dude.
and I was like, dude, I don't have the money. Like, I have 3 weeks or like 2 weeks, and I don't think I'm gonna make rent. And my sponsor Darian was like, well, turn your will and your life over to the care of God as you understood him. I was like, okay, great. I need money now.
I'm like, how is that going to make me money now?
I don't. That doesn't apply to this.
Yeah.
And he didn't love that response. He was like, turn your will and your life over to the care of God as you understand him. I was like, okay, and I like stormed off. But the way he responded really resonated with me for the next 2 weeks. Like I could not stop thinking about it. Of like, what the fuck type of response was that? And then it evolved into like, oh, just let go, dude. Like, whatever. And I did. And it's weird because this doesn't happen to everyone. This is not me telling the viewers like, don't worry about it. God will pay your rent. Because what I got to realize is that a power greater than myself provides me an opportunity to then make money, to then pay that rent. It wasn't God paying the rent. It was me taking opportunities presented in my life to then do it. And I might have to compromise. You know what I mean? I might have to do something I don't want to do, and like whatever. But I will be presented opportunities to continue to live life. You know what I mean? Or it could have been like, I get presented an opportunity and then I'm fucked. And then it's like, I have to move out. But in doing so, that is a shitty but vital lesson from a power greater than myself to learn like, oh, you got to prioritize money better. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Same thing with you. When I was living there, it was just like, I got back into the bar scene. I was a year and a half sober and I was like, I don't know if I can do it. Like, and you and I sat down in that living room and you were like, how much do you make in bills? And we broke it down. And you're like, you have to make this much a month. So divide that by like 25, right? 5 days a week. How much do you have, or by 30, how much do you have to make every single day? And I was like, I have to make $80 a day. It was like, I had no bills, I was like, I have to make $80 a day. And you're like, then go get a fucking job and be like, if I'm not making $100 a day, I can't work here.
Yeah.
And they're like, and so I was like, are you sure? And Clayton's like, yeah, dude, do it. I got a job at this fucking bar in the valley and I like trained. I'm like, listen, Raul, big dog. He's like, what do you think? You want to work here? I was like, I have to make $100 a day. He's like, bro, you'll make more than $100 a day. I was like, really? He was like, yeah.
What's
I was
that?
like,
What was that bar called?
That's nice.
The
It was
Thirsty
a good
Merchant.
The Thirsty
right?
Merchant.
I like that spot.
Well,
You worked there with Kate. That's where you met Lucas and Kate, right?
that is, yeah. I met people in my fellowship at Thirsty Merchant, which will come later. But yeah, but just like the fact that I got an opportunity, you know what I mean? I took advantage of it.
Yeah.
And like that first week, like the plumbing flooded, and I was like, I say like something I don't want to do. I was legit. You can ask. I don't know who was there. I was picking up like poop in poop water because it flooded.
Oh my god!
And I was the only one who was like, yeah, I'll fucking do it.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I mean, that's true. Like, if you're not willing to go to any length to stay sober and like pay your rent and like survive,
You're probably not going to.
you're not going to. Especially in Los Angeles.
Dude, and
Like, no fucking way. You won't survive here.
it's
Like,
crazy that you mentioned that because like we in the sober living, right? Both of our sober living, the sober living, we have chores. There's chores, right? These guys, one of the chores is to clean the bathroom, and I'll go check their chore afterwards. Every time, never do they clean the toilet because they're like, I'm not cleaning shit. I'm not cleaning somebody else's shit, and I'm like, okay, great. Give me the fucking thing. I'm gonna do it myself. I'm gonna show you what it's like to have as much time as I do, be this, the status that I am, and still scrub shit off a toilet because I'm not better than that, And
Right.
I'm telling these guys, dude, it's not that big of a deal.
I'm not defending them,
Yeah.
but like, well, of course they didn't clean the fucking toilet.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
of
Like,
course not, of course.
Who would want to fucking do that?
No, but it's their chore.
but-
It's their assigned chore.
But the grand scheme of things, that doesn't always get like seen until like, obviously I've had experiences where I'm like, oh, that makes sense why I had to clean shit out of that toilet.
Right.
Is because it's like, in the grand scheme of things, that is the distance I'm, if not more, that I'm willing to go to have the things in my life that I have today.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, like it makes sense, but it also like, wake up, idiot! Like
Yes,
it's
yes.
more, it's more than just cleaning shit. It's like, it's like, no, like
You're not better than. It's humility.
It's
right,
humility, exactly.
but that, especially for me, and to continue answering your question of like the progression of my life, that took a long time.
Yeah.
So what happened was, that's what I was like before I got sober. And then when I would say in the first, I got sober in 2018, and year 3 was 2021. That's year 3 is when it kind of, there was a middle period, right? So I got sober and learning humility, learning like what acting in spiritual principles it really truly is, took a long fucking time. I mean, you remember, and so do you. How fucking defiant was I? Like, dude, I wouldn't do that. I'm gonna fucking do it. And then it like would blow up in my face, and then like me thinking like, oh, I know better. Like the self-righteousness and like the like pride and the ego. It took for me, I feel like it took quite a while for me to like really understand like, oh, this shit really isn't working for me. I believed that character defects and like self-righteousness, pride, ego, I knew those things don't really work for me. Being controlling does not work for me, does not work in my benefit. It hurts more than it helps. But to like not only believe, but like rely on the opposite of those defects of character, like if pride, the opposite being humility, to rely on being humble, to realize
to practice these principles in all our affairs.
Yeah. Like,
dude,
it just took a long time for me. Like, oh, I should humble myself. Like, it took like 3 fucking years to truly like perfect like, oh, that way of thinking of like humble yourself. Like it's not about you anymore. And when I got my first year sober, that little relationship that I had, the girl that broke up with me when I got 1 year sober was like, congratulations on a year. It's not about you anymore. And I was like, fuck you, like,
Yeah.
But I was like, but it's true.
Yeah.
I'm dating her today, guys. It all worked out. But
there was
it's
a little
true.
break
She's
in
very
there.
wise.
But yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. So in the 3 years, it's like I lived at my mom's. I lived at that shithole apartment with Clayton, and then I was there. COVID hit, and like that's like a whole nother fucking ball game because it's like I got sober before COVID. I knew what it was like. I know a lot of people that got sober during COVID and after COVID, and they're three vastly different experiences from my point of view. COVID hit, and Clayton moved out.
You moved to
No, we moved right before that. It was like coming up.
Yeah, you moved in like December.
Yeah.
Nico moved in. And then from December to February, Nico was there, and Nico was like, I gotta move back to my dad's. Like, I can't fuck around with COVID. I was like, all right, fine. And I was in that fucking apartment from 9 months sober to almost 2 years sober. So I spent like quite a while in this shithole, and I like was just fucking a mess. It was awful. And it was like Zoom meetings were a thing, obviously. I mean, technically they still are now, but like also big ups to the Zoom CEOs. Oh, just absolutely shitting on fucking what's that other
Skype.
Skype.
Dude.
Where the fuck was Skype in COVID, guys?
Yeah,
Like,
I neard heard of Zoom before COVID happened.
Yeah.
Never heard of it. I just guess Skype didn't
skip.
up its game.
Anyways, and so I was going to Zoom meetings, and if you're in a Zoom, by all means, run it. For me, I'm fine. Like it was rough, and so I wasn't going to meetings for a long time. Lucas is one of the guys at Thirsty Merchant. I met him, and I started. He got sober in COVID, and then like he was my saving grace through COVID, bro. Straight up, like working with another alcoholic, like going to his house and like doing that got me really through COVID a lot. That and the Marina Center late night, RIP. To the old Marina Center, not that new revitalized piece of shit. I hate it. I hate the Marina Center. It's too new. I would pay $10,000 to make it shitty again.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about Radford.
Yeah, but my home groups on Sunday at Radford, and I'm like, whatever.
Yeah, but it's still like this is nice.
It's really nice. The shittiness, dude.
I miss
Yeah.
They had a certain je ne sais quoi.
Yeah.
You know?
But then, so I'm going to Marina Center late night, like 4 nights a week from North Hollywood to fucking Mar Vista, 4 nights a week. Like, fuck it. Like, I'm not making any money on unemployment. I was making dick on unemployment, and I was like, fuck it, I'm going to Marina Center. I don't care. The money will come. And that's where, like, a little slowly but surely, that humility and that, like, those spiritual principles and that priority list of my sobriety was coming in. Like, I was like, I don't give a fuck how far away Marina Center is. It's open, and I'm gonna go.
And I need a meeting. Yeah.
And I need a meeting, and I need like human connection because I can't be in this fucking shithole
I can't
apartment
do
anymore.
Zoom either, dude.
Dude, I
I
can't
remember.
do
I
Zoom.
think the only Zoom meeting I went to, I think it was Kate's meeting,
Sherry Theater.
maybe, but everyone was in there, and I was playing video games the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I would do the same thing.
Yeah, and some dude in the chat was like, "Hey, shout out to the guy playing Call of Duty." Just because Kate was like, "Hey, just come like support my me." I was like, "Sure." I just like threw it on and put my phone down.
Yeah.
Muted myself. I didn't turn my camera off because I was like, whatever. But I'm like playing like Warzone because that was like the only thing to do, and I'm like screaming at my TV. You can see
On
like,
mute?
yeah. I'm like, what the fuck, you know. That was so fun. But that was like, I think the only Zoom meeting I actually ever went to.
Really?
I went to
Dude, I couldn't do it. Like you talked to me, like I needed like human connection.
I understand why Zoom can be like chill.
yeah.
I can understand it. And like if I mean fuck, dude. If it was like more hardcore, like you're not allowed to leave your fucking house type shit, I'd be like, I'm going to Zoom meetings.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna have
that.
to, you know.
yeah.
But it was too loosey goosey to be like, yeah, but there's fucking Marina Center in person. I'm going to that,
dude.
and I got a lot of flack for that. I got a lot of flack.
Dude,
for it.
I don't care. So I went to Marina Center all the time in person. I love that. I love that place. It was great.
No, but he's talking about during the shutdown.
During COVID.
Yeah, I went
yeah,
there
yeah.
during COVID.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did. Remember, I would
Late night?
Yeah, I would munch on the fucking
No, you.
pork skins.
If that was you going all the time, then I paid rent there, bro. I mean, I was there every fucking day, and I didn't give a. That's another thing for anyone watching this. New, whatever. It does not fucking matter. I know it feels awkward, but there is no greater feeling than going to a meeting you've never been to and you don't fucking know anyone, and you just don't know anyone.
And yeah.
But if you do that, there's a caveat. This is what I suggest. This is not what I enforce. This is what I suggest. Go to a meeting where you don't know anyone. Sit in the front, dude. Don't sit in the back in relapse row. Sit in the front. You might be a fucking nerd, like a fucking A+ student for AA, but it does not matter because it is fucking helpful.
Share or don't share?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I don't think share, not your first one.
No, well, oh yeah.
Not your first meeting.
Depends. It depends on the circumstances. Do I have 5.5 years or do I have 5.5 months? Which one?
Months.
5
Months?
Yeah.
No.
Share, years.
I would wait.
I would wait. Yeah.
And if you're gonna fucking share, it better have some goddamn solution, and it better not be about your day-to-day life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or it could be about your day-to-day life, but you better find the fucking solution to what you
Yeah.
did with your day-to-day life.
Yeah.
But if you just, I get it. Sometimes you need to, you're like, things are fucked, and you have to take maybe a burning desire, or you have to say something, and you need to like share. I understand that. But if you make that a habit, you're
the worst person.
You're not providing anything for the meeting.
Dude.
Because meetings are so we can show the newcomer, the solution in the fellowship and like what they've been striving for. And that's what I try to do. 5.5 years sober. If I go to a meeting I've never been to, I won't share. I'll go to the first meeting and I won't share. I won't voluntarily raise my hand. If I get asked to share, sure. But I don't share. And then maybe I'll go here and there. And if there's something that really like, oh, I have something to offer on that. My rule of thumb, and maybe I'm like crazy, I will wait. So I will wait for 3 or 4 people to share. And then I'll raise my hand. And I'll do I used to raise my hand, boom, like first one up all the time. And I got to realize I'm like, there's subliminal thoughts going through my head, subconscious thoughts where it's like, am I sharing because I want to be heard, or am I
because
sharing
you have a solution?
Because I have something to offer, So I'm kind of like, I'm not too quick to share. I'm gonna wait maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
Have people get the ball rolling.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to ask you a question real quick. Were you at Sherry Theater when that kid Forrest started coming? He like had like the meth job where we go like that. Do you know who I'm talking about?
I think that was before me.
Dude. I just know because you saw him last week when we went to Sherry 2 weeks ago. And he was homeless.
Dude, but like I'd only seen him one other time
homeless.
after that or before that.
Yeah.
But like that was like wild to me because I never expected to see him again. He's from another state, whatever, but he was going to Sherry like consistently for like a few months. And then he just disappeared. And then I was working at Fat Sal's in Hollywood and I was skating down Hollywood Boulevard and I just happened to see him. And I go, Forrest. And he jumps up and he's like, you got any money? And I was like, no, dude. But if you come with me to work, I'll give you a sandwich, something like that. And I hadn't seen him since then. And then I was walking to Sherry Theater the other day and this homeless guy passes me, no shoes, ripped jeans, torn shirt.
No, leaving Sherry Theater, I think.
Both.
So,
but I didn't say anything to him.
Okay.
And I just like beard, matted hair, just dirty, just kind of talking to himself, looking around like the homeless crazy person. You know what I mean? And then like leaving Sherry, I saw him again and I looked at his eyes and this kid Forrest has like very blue eyes. And we looked at each other and I was like, Forrest? And he looked at me like, it was like he didn't even know his own name type of thing, like, and then he was like, oh, my name's Forrest.
Oh shit.
Jesus.
And I was like, dude, like, I didn't really know what to say. I was like, hey man, like, if you ever want to go to a meeting, like, this is where we met. Like, Sherry Theater's right there,
Yeah.
Like, couldn't really give him my phone number,
Yeah.
like,
damn.
that, it was just hard, bro. But it's like, I don't know, like, talking about like how we were talking about like willingness and humility and like just like sharing solution and stuff like that. It's like, I don't know, that popped into my head because it's like sometimes it doesn't matter, You know, like
Yeah,
sometimes, like I'm not saying not
More like
to
how
do
I
it.
said, like you just need like just enough.
Yeah.
You know, you don't need to be 100% willing.
No,
like,
no, for sure. But I'm talking more about, because like, dude, like most of the people that go to Sherry Theater, or like when we were going there often, it was like we all took turns secretarying the meeting. We've all maintained long-term sobriety. And it's like, because it's like, you know, the people before us that had that long-term sobriety that shared that solution with us and so on, right? Like we got to in turn do the same. And now it's like people we don't even know that are running that meeting.
Yeah.
You know? And it's like, you know, going back to like people that you think you'll never see again, it's like some of them are there.
Yeah.
Some of them are, you walk past every day and don't even realize it. You know what I mean? Like that was like something that kind of like, I don't know. I've thought about that, seeing him every day since I saw him, you know?
Yeah.
And it's weird.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah,
why.
it's weird. Some of us get it, some of us don't, you know, and it's really, you know, a God shot as to who gets it and who doesn't. And we just got to be thanking our lucky stars that we got it. You know, there's no rhyme or reason as to who gets it, but it all starts with honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness, and just enough willingness.
Yeah.
And going back to what you said is commitments, dude. Like
100%.
Dude, yeah.
I feel like I'm taking forever to answer your question.
You're all good.
What's my life like now? Like the progression, right? Now it's like, you know, I have 5.5 years sober, and I'm not as on fire with AA as I was when I first got here. Because when I first got here, I mean, motherfucker, every fucking day I was going to a meeting. You know, I was itching to sponsor people. Now it's a little bit different, but it has the same qualities where it's like, I mean, I don't suggest this, but I go to like maybe 2 or 3 meetings a week, right? I have one. I've never had a home group my entire sobriety until like, I feel like honestly recently now. So I go to a meeting, a men's meeting at 12:30 on Sunday at Radford Hall. It's solid as fuck. And if you're looking for a meeting, I highly suggest it. And I sponsor, the way I sponsor is a little bit different. I'm not as like force feeding. I just kind of like, I give a shit as much as you give a shit about, you know.
Elder statesman.
Yeah. Right. He texted me the other day. He's like, "What's that thing you said at Sherry Theater?" And I was like, "Dog, that was like 3 weeks ago. I don't fucking know."
The elder states.
But he's like, elder. I was like, "Oh, elder statesman and bleeding deacon." It's like I don't control anything. And if you're watching this, anything I say, I'll speak for myself. Anything I say, it's purely suggestion. There is no rules in AA. There's nothing you have to do. Whatever. So now I go like, you know, 2 or 3 meetings a week, maybe. Minimum 1. I mean, fuck. I would, if I'm not going to a meeting a week, I'm fucked. I sponsor you. I sponsor a couple other guys, and it's like one guy never calls me, and hey, like whatever, you know, like when he calls, I'll answer, you know, I'll do my best. I have another guy who I just got all the way through the steps, who's like a literal child. No, he's 20, 21. Cade.
He's very mature for his age.
He really is. But I got him through the steps. We're halfway through the steps, you and me.
We're on
which is an interesting thing that I feel like should be addressed. Eric has 8 years sober, and I have 5.5.
8.5.
And
I have 8.5 years sober.
right, 8.5 years sober. I have 5.5. It doesn't matter.
Where did I ask you to be my sponsor?
At the bar that I work at. It was like, here's your soda water and lime. But yeah, like, so I sponsor Eric. He has more time than I do. He's been around longer than I have. He's been sober longer than I have. But it doesn't really matter because it's like, I could ask someone with less time than me who I feel like, oh, dude, I want what he has. Like, it just doesn't matter. Like, it's not about time, because as cliche as it sounds, like we truly kind of just have today. And you see that with people with like 30 years who don't work a program, and someone with 30 days who was on fire with the program. It was like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like, it all depends on like, well, how are you practicing these principles in your daily affairs, not just in the rooms, but outside of them, more importantly.
And that's what I saw with you is like, you're somebody that I saw, having practicing these principles in all his affairs, living happy, joyous, and free, having a great life, and was still like at the time in my eyes, you were on fire about the program, and you had this great sponsorship family, and I really admired how you guys work the steps and all that stuff. And I was like, that was something that was very attractive to me. And that's why we say attraction, not promotion. He wasn't coming up with me to like ask with a pamphlet saying, here's why I should be your sponsor.
Yeah, no.
He was just like living happy, joyous, and free.
Living
and
by example.
And living by example, by the principles. And that was attractive to me. And I was like, all right, I had been through the steps before. And then I had tried it with a couple different sponsors. We weren't really jiving. And then I asked you to sponsor me.
But even then, if you think about it, I mean, when did I get you on your 4-step? And this might be important for people watching.
Okay, so he got me on my 4-step in November of 2023.
And I said, I will do a 4-step with you. And maybe we'll read each other's 4-steps so we can
step.
practice, right?
Yeah.
Like a 5th step with sponsors that you sponsor.
Mm-hmm.
November of when?
2023.
2022.
2022.
It
November.
is March of 2024. Eric just read me his 5th step. And the way I sponsor now is like, I don't care how long you take. It doesn't matter. Because you might have like done steps with someone else and it's like, you're not doing 4-step. And you're like, oh, dude, am I even sponsored by that guy anymore? Like, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't care. Like,
What if it's a newcomer?
it's not my 4-step.
Yeah, I understand that, but like at a certain point, are you dropping people?
If I got a sponsee who's new, and I get him through steps 1, 2, and 3, and I get him on step 4, and I'm like, okay, yeah, like,
And then he keeps calling you, and you're like, why don't you do a 4th step? And then he doesn't, and it's continuous, and he keeps calling you, talking about his problems, and he keeps calling you, and you keep suggesting the same thing, and so on and so on and so on. Like, it doesn't matter.
I'll keep going. I'll just keep suggesting. I'm like, yeah, well, how's that 4-step coming?
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
And it happens because something that Jeff says is like, AA works 100% of the time. It's the people who don't. And like, I don't drop sponsees. They drop themselves. Like, I've had sponsees who like, same thing, that scenario. I'm like, how's that 4-step? And he's like, oh, I'm done with the 4-step. And he showed me, and I was like, this is not a 4-step.
Right.
Like, go back and do it this way. I would suggest going like this. And they never did it. And then they dropped me and they got someone else.
Or they die. That happened with me.
Yeah.
Remember Condi?
Yes.
But I'm not, but for me at least, I'm not, I can't get anyone high,
Right.
but I can't get you to do your 4-step.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, I can't get you to stay sober.
The worst, like this, I mean, he was a very like great man and had like experienced a lot, but like this guy failed, like so unwilling to acknowledge that he could possibly be resentful at somebody.
Cool.
You know what I mean? And I was just like, what am I supposed to do with that?
Sounds like you got the answers, buddy.
Yeah. And I was like, I even called Jeff. I was like, what do I do with this? And he's like, tell him this. I go, Jeff, I have said everything, bro. Like he wrote this like 2-page thing on like how he has been lifted of any and all resentments that he may have had. And I was like, dog, like that's not how this works, bro. You know what I mean? Like there's
just fake it.
You're
fucking fake it at that point,
you're in
baby.
pain, bro. Like you're in pain because his son had like killed himself.
I feel like, well, keep going.
So basically like this kid's son drove home from a party, crashed into a house, walked the rest of the way home, and went upstairs and shot himself.
I thought he shot himself in the driveway.
No, he went upstairs, and his dad heard that like he was with his wife, like watching TV or something, went upstairs, found it, and like that's after that. Him going through that is when his drinking like really got bad because he's like a retired firefighter, and he came to us, and like my little brother knew his son. They went to high school together, and like, I was just like, dude, like you're allowed to like have a resentment. You know what I mean? Like, I know you don't want to. I know you think that this is gonna like tarnish the view and like the memory of your son, but like, dude, you're allowed to be resentful. Like, I'd be pissed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think though, like he wrote a 2-page thing about how he's lifted from resentment. This is just what I would how I immediately thought. I was like, okay, you don't have to have resentment to do a 4-step. There's resentment. I wrote resentments on my 4-step where I'm like, I don't give a shit about that anymore.
Yeah.
But the pen to paper and just doing the process, like,
or just putting it. Yeah.
it doesn't. I don't have to be resentful. That's a fuck situation, right?
Yeah.
And like maybe I would say that because it's like there probably is resentment, but I'm not going to tell them that there is.
Right,
Okay,
but
you're lifted from resentment. Fuck yeah, you're like already one step ahead.
But the whole point.
But then they get to the second column.
is
What
why.
did I do?
Why? What,
No.
What, how it affects?
Why?
No.
No. Why?
What-
Why am I resentful? Like
Yeah.
what pissed me? Like what
person,
happened? Why am I
Yes. What
resentful?
what caused the resentment?
The
Yeah, what
second
caused?
column, yeah.
But the whole point is to look
Well,
the whole point is to look at your patterns.
you can be resentment free, right?
Yeah.
Some fuck situations like I don't have resentment about that anymore. Okay, good.
Mm-hmm.
Was there ever a time that you were resentful? Yeah, at the very beginning.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, but like
he
this-
said no.
He's like
He said as soon as it
like-
happened, he was like.
and that's what I'm saying. I'm like, I can't. How am I supposed to navigate
So
this?
then my next question would be like, so if you're not resentful, then what are you? Were you happy that happened? Like that there was no. Was there,
and it's
maybe
like,
I would change it to be like, was there any negative emotion towards this? And change the word resentment to this negative emotion.
not really. I'm just not really like that type of person. Oh,
Oh, so you're a fucking sociopath.
dude, it was hard. It was hard because I knew that he wasn't gonna make it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then months later, they found him dead in his apartment.
Okay, that was my question.
Yeah. And it's
How?
like
Just
he drank
he
himself
drank,
to death.
he drank, he threw up, and then
Asphyxiated.
I mean,
Asphyxiated in
obviously,
his vomit.
this is all, it doesn't matter now, but like, I would be like, well, why are you drinking? You know what I mean?
yeah.
Well, I drink because,
I like to be drunk.
and why do you like to be drunk?
Simply because
So
I
you
like the
don't have to feel? Like,
Dude,
feel
trust
what?
me, I know. I know why he was drinking.
Get this guy on the phone. I want to talk to him.
yeah, just get him on the phone.
Yeah.
Oh wait, oh fuck.
He answers. What? Holy shit, Houdini.
Oh man.
He Houdini'd us.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know where we were, but
well, we have to actually wrap up right now. But one thing I
how long
want
has this been?
it's been like an hour and a half, pretty much.
Go 2, bro. Go 2 hours.
Okay, I mean,
How long are your podcasts normally?
45 minutes. Oh, bro, come on.
Another 30 minutes could be another 15.
Okay, I want to
You know?
ask you. I want to ask you this question though. What?
Does size matter? I'm going to tell you about an Instagram account after.
Okay,
It's fucking ridiculous.
No, you're gonna forget. You're gonna tell us
tell
now.
us right now. Just
I don't
us
want
right
to tell it now on the podcast.
Okay,
it has to be
fine,
edited
fine.
out.
Okay,
it's
fine.
too. It's
it's too bad.
Yeah, no.
Anyways, I want to ask you a question. What is I've been asking the guests this. What is the most embarrassing story you have while you were getting high and drunk? Of like most embarrassing shit you did.
The date he went on with that girl.
fuck.
Aside from that, I don't feel like that's
Embarrassing.
embarrassing.
Dude, so much embarrassing shit happened to me in sobriety.
Yeah, I know. It's probably worse.
Yeah, dude.
You're like,
I'll just tell embarrassing stories. But I know, like what? Like that happened? Stories. Not so much embarrassing though.
Just like crazy.
Yeah, like I went to a Kings game with my coworker and a regular that we had that was his best friend. We went to a Kings game and I got shitty before the Kings game. I was kind of drunk, but then as the game went on, I like started to brown out. And then like, if I can remember, I could be wrong. I think I knew someone who like was like at the Kings game was like had VIP seats and then like was like, oh yeah, like we can get you like or something. I don't know. The next thing I remember is like I knew she was there and she was like oh, maybe we can get you down. I don't know. But then I don't ever remember meeting up with her. So I don't know how I got to where the story ends up. I browned out. I was like, and I came to for like maybe 10 minutes. And then at Crypto or Staples, there's like an area where like you can pay $60 to get like a plate, and there's like gourmet food buffet. I don't know if you know where that is.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
it's like the Kettle One Club or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I came to, and I'm like, I was like grabbing a plate. I was like, where do I get the food? And they're like, over there. And then it was like an intermission for the hockey game, and then like the guys who like do the intermission report like on TV were like there. Like the guy's name was like John. I'm like John, and he's like get the fuck out of here, dude. Like, and I was like trying to get food, and I just got like mac and cheese, and I was just like eating, and then I browned out again, like, and then I came to, and then I was like in the tunnel where like the Kings are walking out. I don't know. I had friends at this game. I don't know where I was. I was in the tunnel, and then Steve-O was in the tunnel. I was like, no, Steve-O. I have a photo to prove that. I was like, Steve-O. It was like, yeah, you know, like in a Steve-O voice. And then took a photo with him. And then like I'm waiting for the Kings to come out of the tunnel at the intermission, and they're like coming out. I was like, yo, and I'm like high-fiving all of them. I'm like shit-housed. And then like, you know, the ushers at Staples Center, they have like the red coats.
Yeah.
So random. In high school, I had a football coach that I would fuck with all the time. He was like the special teams coach or something. He ran the punt team or something. His name is Coach Forbes. We'd always make fun of him in high school. And I'm like, team comes out.
Shout out
like,
Coach Forbes.
I'm like, Coach Forbes. And he like didn't turn. I was like, Zach. And he like turns around. My fucking football coach was the usher at the tunnel of the Kings game. I was like, Coach, what's up? Like shit house. And then I browned out, and I don't know. I found my friend somewhere, but I was like, we got in the VIP buffet. Said what's up to John Ireland. Fucking ate mac and cheese, met Steve-O, high-fived all of the LA Kings, and saw my football coach who was working at Staples Center, and somehow, some way, I got home.
You're not making a compelling case for getting sober.
You want a compelling case? I mean...
I'm just kidding.
I mean, I say this all the time. I mean, I said it earlier. Getting high and drunk is fucking wild.
Yeah.
It's not sustainable.
Yeah. No.
Because I am very lucky. And for anyone who's like, man, fuck this asshole. He didn't have to go through anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he didn't have to lose anything. You're absolutely right. I am an asshole, and I didn't have to lose anything. I really didn't. And I'll be the first one to admit it. I did not have to lose everything.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm lucky. And the one thing that I do have is gratitude, because I know that I didn't have to lose everything to get to where I am today.
Mm-hmm.
And I know a lot of people have lost everything, and it's fucked, and they're in fucked situations. But me and a slew of other people are so eager to help that it doesn't matter how much you lost or how much you didn't lose. You know what I mean? Like, I had a lot of fucking fun getting high and drunk, and I had a lot of sad, miserable shit. You know, just the loneliest I've ever felt. I felt really lost. And like, yeah, I didn't lose a lot of shit, but I felt so lost. And that same feeling is the same feeling that someone who lost everything and the same person who hasn't lost anything can still have coming into sobriety. Just feeling fucking lost is like, can be enough just to like get you sober. You know what I mean? And like, I don't know, like, I'm grateful that I got here when I did, you know, and I didn't have to lose everything. But I'm also grateful that I can look back and be like, damn, I'm fucking lucky. Like, I had a roof over my head, food in my stomach, and people who gave a shit about me, and a job and a car. I had all those things when I got here. And there's people who don't. And it's like, maybe I'm not the prime candidate to be like, oh, yeah, you can make it, you know, because it's like, I'm not that guy. But there are people that's something my sister said in that balcony when I had that conversation with them. She said, people have come from far less and gone greater distances than you have. Like, it does not matter.
Yeah.
Like, you can come from fucking nothing. I've seen people. if you don't want my help, that's fine because you think I haven't lost enough. But I guarantee you, I can fucking find someone with the exact same fucking story as you, who has lost just as much and gone greater distances. And just completely 180 their whole fucking life around, you know? To embarrassing stories. I don't know. I've wet the bed 3 times in sobriety.
How many times have you gone to the hospital for dehydration?
Countless.
What?
You don't know?
I know he has. I remember that. I remember the stories, but I'm just like, what does that look like when you get just so dehydrated that you have to go to the
I'll tell you
hospital?
exactly what it looks like.
When was the last time you drank water?
Last night.
When was the last time you drank milk?
Whole milk?
Any
Like
milk.
real milk?
Yeah,
By itself?
Yeah.
Or like in coffee?
by itself.
Our milk went bad, and I've thrown it out, and I just haven't had any. I'd say at the longest, maybe a month ago.
Oh my god,
Dude,
you need to drink
You
some
have a
milk.
chocolate cake or like a chocolate cupcake, cookies, bro. I'm not eating cookies with oat milk. Get the fuck out of here.
Dude, you need some
Oat milk
milk.
is great.
You need to
but
live up to your...
if I have brings home crumble cookie,
I need milk.
yeah, I'm gonna drink it with milk.
Yeah.
Get
Yeah.
the fuck out of here.
I know.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear this bullshit.
Yeah.
I don't drink. One time I asked someone, I was like, "You have rich chocolate cake, so rich and creamy. What are you gonna drink it with?" Someone one time said water. I'm like, you should be locked up somewhere.
What about coffee? You can drink it with coffee.
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, like International Delight Creamer is fucking.
No, I'm not
technically-
talking about milk with coffee. I'm talking about you drink coffee with that cake.
You could, yeah, of course.
Are you, when you get a donut, do you dip it in the coffee?
No.
You're not a
Do you do
Dunkin'.
that?
You're not a Dunkin'.
Do you dunk?
It's literally Dunkin' Donuts for a reason. You dunk the donut
Dude, nothing's
in the
better
coffee.
than going to a gas station, getting the Hostess chocolate cakes.
No, the powdered
chocolate
ones.
donuts?
The
No,
powdered
no.
ones are the best. They smell like Play-Doh and they're delicious.
Not my bag. My bag is you get the chocolate donuts, the little ones, the donuts. And they got that,
the
they got-
circular ones.
Yeah, and they
They're
got
all-
that waxy fake chocolate on it.
Yeah.
And you go get like an Altadena milk, bro. Fuck me up. But yeah, I've pissed my pants 3 times in sobriety. In the bed, once with Megan, and she was like, "Don't even worry about it." I was like, "I'm gonna marry you. I love you. Thank you for not making fun of me." She didn't care. She's like, "Whatever. Wash the sheets."
Why did you piss yourself in the bed?
You know what I really think it is? Because I spoiler alert, I don't work construction. I work in a bar and I work in TV and film. But working in bars, being up late as fucking night and drinking Red Bull, having a fucking bang at 1 a.m. Those things just squeeze your insides to make you piss. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was drinking too many bang energy drinks and I was wetting the bed. I was like, I have to stop drinking these past a certain time.
Wait, you said you wet your
Shout
pants.
out Bang Energy drinks.
Yeah.
You wet your pants.
Yeah, fuck Celsius.
3 times.
That's right. Fuck them.
2 of the times was in your bed.
One time was at I doubt he'll ever watch this podcast. One time was at Adam Bell's apartment. I don't think he knows this. Me and Darian went surfing with Adam Bell. Woke up before everyone else to go surfing. It was 6 or 5 a.m. They're waking up at 5:30. Woke up. I was like, I just pissed all over his couch. He lived in a shithole apartment, and I took his cushion, flip. I was like, let's go surfing, guys.
Oh my god, dude! Oh my
I was 3 months sober. I was like, I don't give a fuck.
Oh my.
Yeah, I don't know. I get a sharp shooting stomach pain. I make myself throw up, and then I go to bed and I cannot sleep. It's so much fucking pain. And then I wait, and then I'm like, fuck, it's 2 a.m, you know? And at the time I didn't have health insurance, so I can't just go to the ER, because shit costs so much fucking money. I did that one time. And it happened multiple times. So the first time I got an emergency Medicare or whatever, it was just you got to do it, and you have a window to apply for Medicare or whatever it is, the health insurance. And I never did it. And then it happened again, and then I went, and then an IV bag cost me $800 fucking dollars. And I was like, fuck that. And then it happened again, and I'm just trying to fight through it. And then I got to a point where I realized oh, like I looked it up and it was like you can have someone come because all you need is just like a bag of saline to get an IV to like rehydrate you. And I found a liquid IV, or not the pouch, but like the a registered nurse will come to your fucking house and give you
an IV.
IV bag, and that costs $400. And I've done that twice. Now I just drink fucking water. Kind of crazy, dude.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Can you believe that? How about that?
Yeah.
You know, now you can just drink fucking water. It's easy, you know?
Okay,
about that?
I have a question for you. What's your biggest weakness? Like, job interview question. What's your greatest strength in AA? What's your biggest weakness in AA?
Ask one more time. What is it?
What's your biggest strength in AA? What's your biggest weakness? Don't give me that. I'm not a morning person. I don't want to hear that.
No. That's a bunch of bullshit. My biggest weakness in AA, it's control. Trying to control. Like the aspect of like playing God, you know, or like just thinking I know better. I guess self-righteousness. Like just like, nah, I got 5 years, you know, like whatever. And it's like I go through dry spells all the time. It's like I don't go to meetings. I'm not sponsoring anyone. I'm not like really participating in AA. And it's like, I'm fine, like whatever, you know. You know, I've been working, I've been busy. And it's like at the bar that I work at, I have a coworker who's sober. His name's Kai, and he's like, he said one time, and I was dry as fuck. And so was he, but then he like got back in the grind of things, and he's like, it does not matter every single time without fail. If I just go to meetings, just bare minimum, just go to meetings and like just surround myself around AA, I always fucking feel better. And it is absolutely true. So trying to take control over my circumstances in life and like thinking I know better is my biggest weakness. It happens every so often, you know, and it happens and that's not even with just sobriety or AA. It's like, that's life, dude. If I think I fucking know better, or I have the right answer, or if I'm like self-righteous, I mean, relationships with family, friends, intimate relationship, it goes to shit, you know? Another big weakness of mine is, maybe it's a little taboo. This is more like with substantial sobriety time. Knowing how to address and identify my feelings in a healthy manner. Because when I first got sober, I'm very grateful for it, but it was like, your feelings aren't facts, bro. You can't run with that. But now I'm almost conditioned to that, where it's like, no, it's facts or nothing. And it's like, no. For me, it's a balance. It's like, I don't know how to express my emotions in a healthy manner. I close off and I'm like, no, I'm fine. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
I'll be fine. As long as I'm honest, open-minded, and willing, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
And it's true. Yeah, I will be fine if I'm honest, open-minded, and willing. But also, at the same time, it's like, I gotta be able to identify certain emotions and be able to communicate that in a healthy manner and address it and huge. I mean, my girlfriend is sober 8 years. You know what I mean? And she is the master of identifying and addressing her feelings and emotions. And she's like, why don't you do that with me? It's because I don't fucking know how to. So that's one of my biggest weaknesses. And the emotional sobriety sense. I'm getting better slowly but surely, but emotional sobriety.
Now, we can't evaluate the liabilities without evaluating the assets. So what is your biggest strength in sobriety?
My biggest strength. I got that fucking dog in me. No, my
Rebellion dogs.
My biggest strength in sobriety. Lame. The first thing that came to my head, because it took me a long time to get here, it's humility. But because I used to be the mayor of AA, and both of you know this, just talking to fucking everyone, just everyone knows me and all that, and yeah, I'll secretary the meeting, and yeah, I'll run the meeting, and yeah, I'll get fire speakers, and yeah, maybe I did, but that doesn't go as far as I thought it would.
Maybe the willingness, though.
Willingness and what?
Just being willing in general.
Yeah. I think I am. I'm pretty willing, but certain times I'm not. It's like, dude, I've been working all fucking week on a TV show, and it's like, am I willing to go to a meeting? It's like, yeah, I got off at 4. I could, maybe go to like. I got off at 4 in Studio City, and it's like, I could go home. And yeah, I could go to Arlington in Koreatown. That's a meeting that I really like and like to go to. I was like, nah. So it's like, willingness, is that my strongest thing? No. I think sometimes it's like,
Yeah, okay, but
yeah, but then you come over to
I
read.
don't think that counts, right? Because it's like
but willingness to help people.
willingness to show up, right? Like, hey, can you speak for me? You're gonna say yes. More than
Yeah.
likely, you're gonna say yes.
If you ask me to speak on Zoom, nah. And that's not.
But that's funny because that doesn't take any effort. You know,
I know.
All you have to do is turn on the camera.
But like when you're like, yeah, can I come over and read at 2 p.m.? I'm like, motherfucker.
Yeah. This motherfucker had to drive all the way from Silver Lake. This was Thursday, an hour and a half back to the valley
To read with you.
read with me and listen to my 6-step for fucking an hour, and then drive all the way an hour back through
But that's
traffic
more willingness to go to work.
to go back
That
to
wasn't
work.
really, if you want to be honest, Eric, I forgot you were coming up. I was like, oh, fuck. I gotta read there. I get to read with Eric. I really do think it's humility. It's like, I don't know. That's something that I like. I do really. That's so not humble to say. That's how ironic. But I feel like, I don't know. That to me, maybe I'm just in that mode because like we read step 7 in the 12 and 12.
Yeah.
And it just humility up
the ass.
But it's like, I really do think it's like so fundamental of like sober or not, dude. When you meet someone who's humble, it's like it just like they carry themselves in a different manner, and like that's what my focus is on, is trying to be as humble as possible and like think big picture and not like be present but think big picture of like, I don't know, like it's not about me anymore. It's like and that's, I guess, where I can't be willing unless I'm humble. And that's what it says in the 12 and 12 on step 7. It's like, you got to have a little bit of humility, even just to get honest, have a little bit of honesty, open-mindedness, or willingness to go to a meeting, to meet with people, to meet with a sponsor, to do the steps. You got to be you got to be humbled, and like it happens to a lot of people when they first get sober. It's like they fucking hit rock bottom, and it's like, you got a slice of humble pie, a big slice, and you're eating it, But even throughout time sober, it's like, if you're not like acquiring a taste for humble pie, I mean, you're not going to get anywhere. And if you're not doing that, then you're not saying teachable. You're not saying like humility is like what I am really focusing on, and what, as of right now in this moment, is what I feel like is my biggest strength in sobriety.
Word.
Because without it, I'm fucked. So I have to.
That's right. It's not
first
all.
things first.
It's not all about you anymore, brother.
Yeah, brother.
It's not all about you,
Hey,
brother. Hey, brother. But anyways, that's all the time we got today. Sorry, Dylan.
The mic is exploding.
But
Someone's super bass on YouTube is just like, Jesus.
Thank you for coming out, Dylan. I appreciate it. You're somebody that's really special in my life. I've gotten to see you progress through all of these stages in sobriety and regress at one point. And I'm just so happy that you're in my fucking life, dude. I really am. And having you come out here and speak and share your story, just like helping me out. I love that, dude. I'm just so appreciative of that. If you or anybody you know needs help getting sober, please feel free to reach out to me or Clayton. You could reach us at Bloom_recovery or at Solstice_recovery, whatever you want. And if we can't help you, we'll at least point you in the right direction. So please, if you or a loved one needs help, that's what we are here to do. Feel free to reach out day or night. We do not care. And I think that's it. Anything you want to say to wrap it up?
No, thank you so much.
Thanks so much again, Dylan.
I love you.
We love you so much. I love
much.
you, dude. All right, that's a wrap, baby.